What's up, guys? Welcome to the Yak Chat, episode number 15. I think we're at now, where we talk about all things kayaks, all things fishing all the time. My name is Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing, and I'm glad that you guys are here with us today. This podcast streams live on YouTube and is available on demand on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you're watching live, we want to hear those questions, comments, and of course, those smart remarks. And if you're listening later on, do me a favor and drop a review wherever you're listening. That helps us a lot, big time. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm getting over a crazy head cold, so my voice is a little bit hoarse. So I'll be popping cough drops the entire time. So I apologize in advance. Also, I apologize in advance if you're not an Eagles fan, because it's football season, baby. So we're big Birds fans here in our house. Unfortunately, Juan likes the Giants. So I'm sorry about Saquon Barkley, bro. That's just our guy now. Okay. So, anyways, it's okay if you guys don't like the Birds. We're here to talk about fishing, but occasionally you will see some sports related paraphernalia here. But today's episode is not about sports. It's all about something a little bit different. So we're obviously, it's in line with who we are as a community. We're dads, we're granddads. If we're not, we might be future dads. And even if you're not a dad, you're a role model likely to some young men in your life. So we're talking about fatherhood, which is one of the most important roles a lot of us will have in our life as men and leaders. So I'm excited to bring on our buddy Chase Carlock. He's the creator behind the YouTube channel Southwest Indiana Outdoors. And on his channel, you'll find plenty of videos for fishing, tournament recaps. But what really stands out is how he includes his wife, Kayla, and their 4 young kids in his content. So we're going to be chatting with Chase about fatherhood, how he makes time for fishing, and the story behind his YouTube channel. Again, this is an interactive show. So if you're watching live, we want to hear those questions, get them ready. And we want to hear those dad jokes, because at the end of the show, we're going to go over all the submitted dad jokes in our favorite segment, the funny or crummy segment. Of course, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Lead Time is our premier sponsor. They've been our sponsor here for a couple months, and they've been powering my kayak setup for this entire season. Really excited for the fact that I got their new 24-volt, 50-amp-hour battery coming on its way. It's going to be powering my brand new Newport Vessels NK180 Pro motor. So super excited for that. Their link is going to be in the show notes below. If you guys take a look at them, they have a lot of stuff to offer, a lot of different size batteries that you guys might need. And if you use the discount code BDF6, you'll get 6% off your entire order. And of course, Humble Imprints, the official custom apparel sponsor of the Yak Chat. If you need t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, anything with your logo on it, or your club's logo, or your church's logo, hit them up. The best part is that 10% of all the net proceeds go to benefit families and children in the foster care system. So check them out at humbleimprints.com. And of course, if you guys are not a member of the Facebook group Kayak Fishing Dads, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. We're on Discord now as well. And if you're watching live, like I said, make sure you guys like this video. Like, go to the actual YouTube video and like it. Pops us up on the algorithm, and leave us a review where you guys are listening. And our next episode is going to be something a little different. We're actually teaming up with Wendell Fishing, Darren, with his show KFO, Kayak Fishing Obsessed, and the Yak Chat on Tuesday, October 1st. And we're doing YouTube channel reviews for fishing channels. So we're going to be dishing out some gems. We're going to go through submitted fishing channels. So if you guys want your fishing channel reviewed, make sure you guys shoot it over in the comments, and we'll be sure to add it to the list. Can't promise that we'll get to all of them, but we will do what we can. So without further ado, let me bring on the homie Juan Orta.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, bro?
Are you?
I don't know you guys might know, we talked about it a little bit, but Juan's going to be fishing Lake Murray with me in a couple weeks. We're going to be out there competing for Team Puerto Rico for the Pan American Kayak Fishing Championship, which is wild. So he's going down as a delegate, but it's going to be a crazy time, man. It's going to be a whole group of us guys coming straight from the island.
Mm-hmm.
So we're ready, man. It's kind of like crazy in my house because just trying to get everything ready, but man, it's so much to look forward to.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic here too because it's like a double trip. We get to go down and travel, see my parents as well, which is going to be real nice. So yeah, man. I mean, and then the opportunity to be out there representing, being with the team, trying to catch good footage, hopefully a new banner for the Kayak Dads page.
Yo,
But
for real.
it's just gonna be dope. Fishing out there, a chance to catch, a real big fish, legendary lake.
It's a big lake, and we're
Yeah.
going for stripers too. So that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be fun, man.
And if I catch one, it'll be my first striper ever. So it's like, yeah, it's wild.
So it'll be technically my second striper ever, but my first on the kayak. So that's a whole different ball game. If you're on a boat, I mean,
But you do did you do a charter before?
Yeah, I did a charter. So we were like trolling. I wasn't really doing any of the work. They were doing the work.
I got you.
So I don't know if you want to count that as catching.
I got you.
I don't know. I
I'm
like to put
excited
myself
either
on the
way.
fish.
I'm excited either way.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be crazy, man.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be cool.
I'm excited to do it. So it's we're gonna bring on Chase here, man. Chase, brother, thanks for coming on, bro.
What's up, Chase?
Hey guys, sorry, I was muted.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, really excited to join.
Yeah, man. So for everybody that doesn't know Chase, tell us a little bit about your backstory, how you got started fishing, and where you are now.
Yeah, so I grew up as an outdoorsman. Was more of a hunter than what I was a fisherman. But me and my dad, we did a lot of fishing, did a lot of catfishing. So that's what I started out doing. I grew up on a small river that was pretty loaded with flathead catfish. So we would go out and chase flathead catfish. A few years back, I say a few years, it's probably been 15 years ago, I started crappie fishing a little bit and really fell in love with crappie fishing. And did that for quite a few years and then picked up a kayak back in 2020. And at the time I was watching some videos, started watching some Greg Blanchard and thought, man, that tournament looks fun. I wasn't interested in bass fishing. I wasn't good at bass fishing, but the tournaments looked like a lot of fun. So I was like, I got to try it. And since then I've been kind of just hooked on kayak fishing in general, but especially bass fishing. And I've really enjoyed the tournament scene.
That's cool. So how many years have you been doing the tournament fishing already?
This is year 2. So not very long.
Yeah, I hear you. That's cool, man.
When you said, so how young were you when you got to fish for the first time, when your dad took you out? Like, was it as far as you could remember?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I grew up hunting in my backyard, and I mean, we would fish when it was, when there were no hunting seasons. So yeah,
okay,
I can remember hunting from as long as I can remember.
So pretty much, if you guys hear some random bangs, that's my kids getting ready to go to bed. But anyhow, so always kind of outdoors, always involved in either hunting or fishing. That's what's up. That's what's up. So after all this time, now it's just like, okay, 2 years. What was the real thing that got you into the tournament scene?
Man, I mean, it's like I said, watching Greg Blanchard's videos, that really enticed me to try tournaments. I love the camaraderie of it. I've actually fished a couple boat tournaments for catfish in the past. Wasn't a big fan of that. It was more, I was just fishing to be with the people I was fishing with. But
like a group thing.
I like, yeah. So I like the camaraderie of the kayak fishing, and really I ran into several of the people in my local club. I've ran into them out on the water, and when you're out there fishing with a guy that's in a tournament, and he's like, oh, hey, here's what they're biting. I mean, doesn't care to share the juice with you, and that's something I really learned to love. And it's the same way in the middle of a tournament when I'm fishing against these guys. We've got some guys that have been out there, and I've had a bad day, because again, bass fishing was pretty new to me last year, and be having a bad day, and they say, well, hey, I see you haven't posted a fish on the board. Here's what I've gotten bites on. And that's huge.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and those bad days still, I mean, shoot, I'm only 4 years in, but those bad days still come plenty. So.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
Hurt.
So good.
How is the difference? Like, what do you do for a cat tournament? Like, what do you just trolling,
So
hanging stuff off the back? Are you sitting? Are you parked? What's going on?
mostly parking, finding a spot where you feel like they'll be laying up and then dropping down. It's generally cut bait, sometimes live bait, but generally cut bait.
So a lot
Casting
of
out,
nothing.
just waiting.
Just a lot of nothing. Oh,
yeah.
I got you.
Yes.
See, I can't do that. I feel like that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, me
as
either.
much.
Right there
like,
with you.
I like to move around and work lures, and
I like to explore too. I like to look up in the shallow, see what's going on with the structure. I mean, considering you can see what's going on.
Yeah. And I like fishing with my dad. My dad, like I said, he was a cat fisherman. He is a cat fisherman through and through now. Still very much a hunter, but he does a lot of cat fishing. So when I go back home, I will go out cat fishing with him, and it's always fun going out fishing with my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to get us on fish because he's on fish year round. But that's always a good time. But man, if you watch any of my YouTube videos, I'm generally a fast moving guy. I throw a lot of crankbaits, throw a lot of moving baits. I like that, running and winding. Yeah.
I like to power fish too. Yeah, I like to move
around.
Yeah,
you do. Juan's always switching out.
I can't. And you know what? Lately this year, I've been on the crankbait bite, mainly because I do custom paint jobs on them. And it's like, for a while, I haven't, it's like, it's kind of backwards to not utilize what you produce a lot. And so I was like, I got to get up on this because it wasn't a big confidence thing, but it was for other people. So, and I also had to back up my product. So, yeah, it's been interesting. Crankbaits are fun. I've lost when I first started using them. I was losing a lot of them too, not figuring out how to hook the hook. Yeah, so it's interesting. They're tricky, man.
Yeah. So speaking about fishing, Chase, what's your favorite snack when you go fishing?
And I generally don't eat a thing when I'm on the water, but if I'm gonna bring something as a snack, it's gonna be almond M&Ms.
Really?
Very specific.
Yeah, I haven't heard of those really like that.
Kind of random, but if I'm gonna pick something to bring on the water, almond M&Ms.
I don't know how you guys don't eat on the water. Like, I always have to take snacks on the water, man.
Me too.
Even if it's like for me, if I'm rushing and I don't have time to like make a sandwich, because that's kind of my go-to thing, I'll like throw 4 apples in a bag because I know I'm gonna get hungry. So I learned the hard way not to bring bananas because I'm not superstitious, but I never land fish when I take bananas with me. So I just don't do that anymore. Thanks to Juan.
Man, I don't know how y'all be bringing the candy out there without it getting melted.
Yeah.
You got to eat it right away.
If I have candy, I'll have a cooler somewhere.
Oh, you have a cooler?
It'll be sitting in the cooler. So I'll have like a bag cooler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mactoon says he takes smoked Vienna sausages on the water. I feel like that's oddly specific too.
Yeah.
If it works, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fool for the payday. A big thing I've been doing now is kind of just I'll eat before I go, and then I'll steal one of my son's Crustables if he has one laying around. But strawberry flavored.
Yeah. Tweezy says sunflower seeds and apples. Sunflower seeds is good. I'm a former smoker, so I like to stay busy, like with anything else. So sunflower seeds are like a go-to for me too.
You know what they're good for? They're good for traveling. If you're like traveling like a long distance and you need to stay awake, the sunflower seeds, man, is a good hack to kind of keep yourself, because you're doing, I don't know. My brother taught me that one. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ray Johnson, of course. Pop-Tarts all the way. My man's a Pop-Tart king. Jonathan says, you have to eat. I can't think when I'm hungry. It's called being hangry. Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Pizza flavored combos. See, that's my go-to for road trips. I love combos, especially like they have the buffalo and blue cheese one.
Really?
I don't know if you guys ever had that one. That one's bomb.
Nah.
Yeah, it's a little
Those
spicy.
are like stuffed pretzels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a stuffed pretzel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like fabricated stuff in a out of a factory. It don't taste like cheese. It's like powder.
Yeah.
Beef jerky. Yeah, beef jerky is a good one. It's hard to go wrong with that. So all right, so enough about snacks, bro. Tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel, how you got started with Southwest Indiana Outdoors.
Yeah. So like I said, I decided to start kayak fishing, and I just kind of talked to the wife. I was like, it'd be kind of cool to record my trips. And at the time, I really thought there was no chance of it taking off to anything. But I was like, it'd be cool to record my trips. I like watching the videos of people kayak fishing, so why not do it? And I told her, I was like, I think I'll start a YouTube channel. I'd really like to get a GoPro. So she actually picked me up a GoPro, and I recorded for probably 6 months, and every single video I recorded, I deleted. I was like, man, I can't stand my voice. I can't stand watching these videos. I was like, nobody's going to want to watch this. And then finally I made one and decided to post it, and have just kind of stuck with it since. I deleted several for the first several months after I posted my first one. And then last year, probably about June, I started being more consistent. Said, look, I'm gonna make a trip. I'm gonna try to get some content, and I'm gonna post them. And I've really had a lot of fun doing it. That's been the big thing. I've not. A lot of people say, well, hey, I'm not gonna make fishing a job, and I don't feel like it is. I feel like I go out there, I'm fishing one way or another. If I get some cool content out of it, awesome. If I don't, I was still out fishing and I had a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what you brought up is a real important byproduct of it all, because it is tough, because it's almost like, no one wants to watch somebody not catch a fish.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the interesting things about when Guggen came out, because they came out during the pandemic, and a lot of people had time off, and I know I watched them a lot, and that was when I started seeing, like, okay, hold on, there's videos of these guys, and sometimes they're not even catching anything. It's just their experience, and it's their personality, and it's their energy, and it's just kind of like, for a moment there, you feel like you're going along with them. And then, kind of like you're saying, like, you start watching other people, and then you think you could do it yourself, and then same thing, you get tripped up over your voice, how you're doing stuff, and then you get self-conscious, you start second guessing things, and it takes a while before you. Jay, you too, right? You kind of started, and then you kind of came back to the drawing board and got yourself.
Yeah. So I didn't wait as long as like got 6 months to get stuff going. So just like you, Chase, my wife bought me my GoPro, and
Mine too.
Juan,
I thought that's funny.
And Juan had something to do with that. I think he guided her on which one to get. But she got me the GoPro because I wanted it mostly to show her my catches. Right. So like, just share the experience. And then I think like a couple weeks after getting it, I caught my first muskie off the kayak, which was really fun. And I was like, man, let me just put that on YouTube. I had some experience with YouTube just from like college stuff, not even posting for a channel necessarily. So I did that, and as soon as I did that, I was like, wow, I might as well start posting every 6 months or every week. So I did that for like 6 weeks, and then after that, I just fell off for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. Like I just, I didn't really give up. I was just like, man, it's not really worth it. I don't catch stuff all the time. I was only doing on the water stuff.
Yeah.
Then about 6 months after my last posting, I went on a trip with Juan to South Carolina, and then posted that video up. And then the next video I posted was a walkthrough of my kayak, and that's the one that kind of took off. And then I was like, all right, maybe I hit something, and I started doing more talking head video, walkthrough videos, review videos, and those ended up doing a lot better for me than fishing. And I don't even now, I don't do many fishing videos, like actually on the water. This year, when I go to these tournaments and next week, this will be my first on the water fishing videos of the year. Typically I do like 2 or 3 maybe max. So
and it's crazy too, because it's like, a lot of people would think like, and it's to Jay's point, like, you just got to stay consistent, and you have to pick something that really just works for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still trying to figure out what's best for me. What's, because, it's hard to engage with people who don't know who you are. And, you know, and you're just some random person fishing, even if you're catching
Yeah.
them, they're still like, who is, you know, so
Yeah.
trying to figure out a way to form that relationship and some trust, and you know, it's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a journey. Like everyone's channel journey, if you will, is different, especially now with shorts. Shorts wasn't a thing when I first started. I don't think I would have gravitated to it anyways, because I don't really gravitate to it now. But some guys like to do just shorts, and that's kind of either their speed or what they intake the most. So it's easier for them to
Yeah.
produce that content.
Yeah. Hey,
You
real
know,
quick, could you throw his channel tag up? Oh, actually, it's right there. Someone asked. They just asked
yeah,
what
what's your
she's his
channel? So
channel.
Southwest Indiana
Yep,
Outdoors.
yep, yeah. Sorry, I'm blind tonight.
Sorry,
No,
you're
you know what?
forgiven.
Today, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's in the air or what, but I was just exhausted today. I had to go get some juice, man, to get myself going here because
Trying to get sponsored by that company.
I don't know yet. I don't know if it's going to be worth it, but I it's been in the back of my mind. I consistently have drinking them throughout all the episodes. So it was funny you said that, because right before the episode I was thinking how I need to that's good company. Well, so
I'd
what I
take a
was thinking
sponsor from
about,
them.
Oh, there you go, all day.
I was thinking about how like things have to be cohesive. I was like, I need to look at the bigger umbrellas here to make sure everything falls in line, because whatever. If there was a fishing industry that made a better one, let me know.
Yeah. So, all right. So you explained a little bit about how you got started, right, and with your channel. So tell us a little bit about your home life. Like you're a dad, you got 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
How old are
4
your
You got
kids?
kids.
4 kids.
So
Oh man.
yeah. Life is wild, and it has been for several years now.
How old are you, real
And
quick?
I'm 36.
36, 4 kids. What's the age span of the
So
kids?
11, 10,
Uh-huh.
9, and 6.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, you were busy
So
for 3 years.
and some more info into that. The first 2 are 14 months apart. The next 2 are 10 months apart.
Oh
So
wow.
My
Okay, you weren't
man.
yeah,
playing no games.
life was crazy.
Yeah, I
Life
hear
was
that.
crazy for a little while for sure,
Yeah,
and still definitely is.
that's what's up.
I've got 2 boys, 2 girls, so
Cool.
it's always an adventure. Not looking forward to the teenage years. I know
Yep.
that's probably going to get a little bit crazy. So
Yeah. Listen,
Probably
man.
get some grays in your beard some more anyway.
yeah, I've already
See if
got a
you
few.
spec-
There will be more
see if
coming.
you spec, yeah.
See, I can't speak for the teenage years yet, but I am. My daughter just turned 12. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, she acts like she's 16 or 17, if that makes
Yeah.
a difference. So, Lord
That's
knows what
my
she's going to be
9-year-old.
acting like when she's 16 or 17.
Yeah,
I have nothing to worry about. I have babies yet. I have a 4-year-old, and she's gonna be 2 next spring. So I'm good for a while.
You got a minute.
Yeah, I'm good. I got like 12 more
Yeah,
years.
you still got the stage of like watching them getting into everything and destroying stuff. So
Oh, yep. I don't know if Terrible Twos came early or what, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's
they
real.
come early and they stay past 2. By the way, that's a lie. They don't end when they turn 3.
spot on. Spot on.
She is everywhere. I can't wait. We're going down to take her to go see grandma, and I'm
Yeah, buddy.
take her. Yep. Payback. Yeah. Craziness.
Well,
man.
and when you have kids, you walk into grandma's house and you're no longer the important one anyway. They just want to see the grandbabies anyway. So you walk in and let them take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? And that's what's real nice. Like my wife, she can, and kind of getting into the topic a little bit and that bit of that balance. I mean, one thing that's really nice is she can take the kids over there, and it kind of takes the stress off of her, which takes the stress off of me, because she'll go to her mom's with the kids, and her mom has that whole area already set up for them, and they go bug out with the mom and pop, and it's Nana and pop, and so it's a good time for them, and they go get exhausted, they go get all their little wormies and all that stuff out. They come back home, and she could just put them to bed, and she could have her own time, and then we could have our own time. I could come back from fishing or whatever the case is, and it's cool. It all evens out. So yeah, it's needed for sure.
I think I seen a question that said which are older and younger. So I have the oldest is a boy and the youngest is a boy. 2 middle are girls.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Interesting.
That worked out nicely.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Do
So
they- do
how
they-
do you
Go ahead.
no? So how do you make time for fishing with 4 kids? I know you're busy. I got 3 and I'm busy. And I know Juan got 2
Yeah.
and he's busy. Like, how do
Yeah.
you make time with 4 kids to really like pursue the passion of fishing?
Man, I'll have to throw out first thing. I am very blessed, very blessed. I've got a great job, number one, and I've got a great wife, man. She sees days that I'm really stressed out, and she'll say, "Hey, why don't you go fishing?" So, and she's been right there with me for the last several years, for sure. On, hey, since I've really started to develop this passion, she's been very supportive of it. I'll throw out, when it first came to the YouTube thing, she was kind of like, "Yeah, this ain't going to be anything," and she kind of laughed at that, but she's actually, I can tell she's definitely on board with it now, and seeing that I've seen some growth and everything, and she's been really helping me along, and she kind of pushes me sometimes, gives me that shove that I need, which is amazing. And I mean, anytime that your wife will volunteer to stay home with 4 kids so you can spend some time on the water, that's pretty amazing.
No, it is. And it's crazy that, before fishing, I never saw this nice balance, because I think that it does something to us as men. I don't know,
Yes.
even if we, I mean, when we come back catching a fish, it's it's fun because you can see their faces. They like to hear it. They're like sitting there listening to our stories, and that makes us feel good. And they entertain our pictures and all this, how we got it. And, oh, I almost lost it, and I had a netted. It was crazy, and so, but even when we don't, they, it's just nice, and I could see that. I feel better when I come back. I'm less stressed, and she looks forward to that too. And just like you're saying, man, yeah, my wife will do that too. Thankfully, that she'll kind of just be like, "Hey," I'm like, "What?" She'll be like, "It's been a while. Why don't you get out? Today's nice. I know we talked about doing this, but go out. It's almost the end of summer." So I saw somebody say, Jake, there was a comment about somebody who I don't have my comments up. The about not getting out as much. You had highlighted it. Where was that? My recent dilemma is I was not able to go out as much as I wanted this season because I didn't have a second kayak for my son, so him and I fished from the bank more. That was me a lot this year too, with the second edition, especially her being so all over the place and kind of being so needy and everything right now. I had to kind of put fishing a little bit more on the back burner this year. I did not get out as much. But it's all good because at the same time, my son's a little older, so I've been able to balance that, right? I could take him out and go, like you said, to the bank, or take him on the John boat and give my wife some free time to kind of handle her, because she's still at that stage where she'll take naps, right? So they'll nap together or whatever the case is, and my wife could get a little break. So those little things, those little nuances help. But I will say Tractor Supply, for $150, they have this little sit on top kayak for kids. It's like 10
little
feet
8-footers or whatever.
Yep.
I think they're 8 or 10 footers, and I plan to get the red one because they have the little shark mouth, which matches my Hobie.
Yeah.
And I could put LJ on the back of that, and so look into something like that in the future, as the safety and all that concern, because that's another thing. My son is so young that he's still not all the way there with it, so I'll do what I can and I'll test my boundaries, but at the same time too, it's not going to be forever. These kids, they grow, and so in a few more years, right? I mean, I'm sure your kids were young and you couldn't do much, and now you probably have to tell them at times.
Yeah, so I mean, really what it comes down to is for the longest time, I kind of, as a dad, you kind of prioritize the family, prioritize the kids. And I've really learned over this, especially this last year, sometimes I've got to take that time for myself, because ultimately I'm a better dad when I've had some of that time for myself. I get angry less often. A lot easier to deal with when I take that time for myself.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I'm glad that Juan mentioned it about like having young kids and just being more limited. Like we're all in different seasons. So it looks different. Like for me, I used to, not now, but I remember more so last year, I would get a little bitter when I saw people with kids going out fishing more than I was. But I didn't think like our season, first of all, I have no business getting bitter because of someone else doing something, right? But our seasons are different, bro. I got, my kids are still younger. Like I have a 5-year-old son, a 9-year-old daughter, and 12-year-old daughter. So, but like last year, my son was 3 going to 4. So even in those little small changes of years, like it makes a big change with little ones.
Yes.
But seasons change. Like sometimes you just have to like see the fact that you might not be able to fish as much right now because it's just where we're at.
Yeah. But you kind of adapt with that.
Yeah.
Like, Jay, how he did, right? Like, and that, I think that's like the biggest take that I'm trying to, and I'm glad that kind of got back to that, because Jay took an advantage of his limitedness. He said, I still want to create content. I still want to create a contribution. I still want to make people feel comfortable out on the water, even though I'm not able to get out as much. I have a lot of research time because I am home dealing with the kids, or I am home dealing. So I have the know-how. Let me just compile this and put this into a presentation that allows somebody to take something from it. And that's what his channel is, because it's a very informational kind of, get your facts, get your options sorted out kind of thing. And it's a, it speaks to what it's become, because he wouldn't be where he's at now if people weren't looking for that stuff. You know what I mean? And I think too, you kind of allowed people to feel more comfortable who weren't necessarily, one thing I noticed about fishing is, depending on how you come up, depending on if you live in the classic like Americana situation, you may not have been an athlete, you may not have been a popular person, or whatever the case may be, and you really brought it down to the normal guy, you know what I mean, and help the normal person relate. And then you help bridge that gap a little bit, for sure, especially with the bigger dudes too. Help them feel more comfortable and more adaptable to the scene, because
that was totally by accident, by the way. Like I didn't
do
that on purpose. I remember when I was looking for a kayak, I was specifically looking for videos on YouTube for kayaks for big guys, or like weight capacities, like something that itemized the weight capacities, and that as being more important. So I didn't see that, and I still landed on where I was at with my Old Town PDL. But then like maybe a year and a half later, I was like, well, let me make this YouTube video about what I didn't see, which was a countdown of kayaks based on weight capacities, and it blew up, and it did really good. And now, I mean, if you YouTube it now, like kayaks for big guys, you'll see a ton of people doing it now, which is cool. And I think the industry is listening, and that's why we're getting kayaks like the Tactical Pro 128 and the XTR 130, and like stuff that's affordable, stuff that might not be motorized or is motorized or whatever. Like, but yeah, there's a lot of big dudes coming on the scene that want to fish. Like it shouldn't be a hard thing to find for people.
Yeah, that's for sure. And they're also making them family friendly too, with these more spacious. Because I've seen guys, I haven't done it, and I kind of feel guilty. So I saw somebody else say that they feel guilty when they don't take their son or daughter out. I don't remember, but I do too, especially because I have a bigger kayak and I could probably maneuver something like that. But at the same time, I don't know that my son gets curious. He wants to look over the edge. He wants to check stuff out. He still puts his hand, I don't want him to hook himself. I don't,
that's my fear.
That's my biggest fear, is him hooking himself.
So I've actually got a video. So I take my kids out fairly frequently. And I say fairly frequently. We've been out several times this year. I've been out a lot this year, but I've taken them out several times this year, a few times in the kayaks. My boys really like to kayak fish with me. And the first time in the kayaks this year with my oldest, again, 11 years old, youngest 6 years old. And my youngest had just went past me. I've got the video where he goes past me and he says, "Hey Dad, look how fast I can go." And he's paddling away, going as fast as he can, and barely gets on the other side of me, and all of a sudden you hear a splash. Water's still chilly. It's not cold, but it's still chilly. And I knew the splash was not something falling in. It was him falling in. So I spun around, which one of the big things I do anytime that we're going to the water, I talk to the kids about, hey, things can go wrong, especially when you're fishing. You've got your mind focused on other things. There's always a chance that you can end up, myself, I've turned a kayak over before. So there's always a chance you can have your mind focused on something else, not see something, run into a log or anything. Yep. So he hit the water. And of course, right at first, he was kind of freaking out. Water was a little chilly, being in that dirty water, and I calmed him down. I was like, look, just swim to me. I'll help you out. I got him up in my kayak. I actually tied his kayak on behind me, went and helped him get into a change of clothes, so he wasn't cold in that wet clothing. But it was an experience, and we came home, and when I was putting him to bed that night, he said, Dad, I was most afraid that a fish was going to bite my shoe off and then bite my toes, So that was really why he was scared. And he was like, when can we go fishing again? So, that's good. He got past that. And the last time I took him, he ended up landing like 13 fish from the kayak. So
nice.
And that builds a little bit of confidence too, like when you go through experiences like that, because now he kind of knows what that limit is. Like, oh, if I lean over too much this way, if I do too much of that, that's going to result in this, and it helps him create those boundaries for himself. So that's nice.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I still haven't gotten to the point where I take my kids out on the kayak. So my oldest wants to go, but she's too, she doesn't want to go on my kayak. She wants her own kayak. Yeah. So, but we'll take them bank fishing, and they love the bank fish. Like, my son really does love to go fishing, and he just wants to go pound some sunnies. He don't care. We went I think it was last year or the year before, and we were going for sunnies, and he ended up with like a 7-inch largemouth, which was he couldn't believe it. He was mind blown, so because it was so much bigger than the little sunnies we were catching. Yeah. But it's cool to see their different personalities come out in their style of fishing. Like, my oldest is very reserved, and she's very overthinks, just like me. Like, I tend to be an overthinker. So she'll kind of think and strategize. My son, you put the rod in his hand, and if water's within sight, he's just casting. He doesn't care. He's aiming for the water, but he could be 20 feet away from the bank. He's just going for it. Yeah. But the fish, for some reason, the fish couldn't stay off of his line. Like, he brought in 7 fish, and he does everything by himself except takes the fish off. Dang, so yeah, and then my middle kid is kind of like a mix between both of them, but she also doesn't like to wait. She just you give it to her and she's gone. She's casting right away. So it's just cool to see their personalities come in their fishing style.
LJ is like that too. He gets very anxious. As soon as you can't even mention the word. We actually had to start spelling around here because if you say any key word, he's like a dog. Outside picking food. He's like, what? Fishing? What's going on?
We going now?
Yeah. It's horrible. We literally don't announce it until we're on the way because it gets him so excited. Let me tell you. So 2-3 days ago, it was Friday, he comes out of school. He's just started pre-K, so it's like a new thing for him. And so I waited all week for Friday to go take him after school to go fishing in the John boat. And I've had my kayak on the trailer for however long. So I get it set up the night before. He has no clue. Mom takes him to school every Friday. So he didn't get to see the backyard. He didn't see my truck. He didn't see any of that. So he comes home from school. I get him situated, we get him eating, whatever, get him switched out. And I'm like, yo, come on, we're out. He's like, where we going? I was like, come on, we're going fishing. He goes, what? And we go walk to the backyard, and he goes, oh, the boat. And I was like, yeah, boy, come on, let's go. And then I had him help me hitch it up or whatever. And then we go and we're driving, and the whole way there, he's like, where's the boat? Because in his mind, he's just worried about the boat being secured. If we still got it, is it still back there? It's still back there. I was like, yeah, it's good. We pull into the lake. It's a little private lake there. And we're going down the hill, and he sees the water, and his face just lights up. And he's learning how to talk and get more elaborate with things. And so he goes, Dad, I go, what? And I look back, and he goes, I'm really excited right now, and that it just touched me, man. And it was dope. And we go out there, and I don't think we caught anything, but the last time we went, we were just shore fishing, and so his problem is he doesn't understand how to cast the spinning rod yet. So he'll leave like a bunch out, and it'll be swinging everywhere. So you got to kind of like stay out his way because you'll get hooked. And I'm trying to show him like, yo, you got to be easy because you could get hooked too. But it was dope. The other day he had a little Kayak on there, and he's just at the bank messing with the fish because they're all being nosy. And he hooked the little bluegill. He was like, "Oh, look, I got one. And I was like, "Yeah, my boy." So he's learning. And then we'll go to South Carolina and we'll go fish in the backyard pond, and that's cool because I'll just cast a worm like way out. And then he just wants to reel it in, hammer it in. And I'm like, yo, be easy, let it sit for a little. And the one day I was letting him go, and he caught 4 in one day all by his own. And every single time I thought he was lying because he gets caught on the weeds a lot. Every time he gets caught on the weeds, he's like, I got one. And I'm looking at his line, and he really does have one. And it's such a cool experience. And he doesn't touch him now though because he got hit by one of the spikies on the back. So now he's like, yeah. And then he touched the lip, and he felt like, because that down, I don't know, I don't want to say down there, but they're not caught as much, so they're a little more official. They're a little more, and you know how those real deal fish are. Their lips could be a little sharp. You get that bass thumb, and he touched that. He was like, no. So now he's like a little funny with him. So if he does touch him, he'll like spike him. Just like slams him in the So I don't let him do that no more. He misses sometimes, and he'll kill a fish. So
yeah,
but you do what you can with them when you can, and everything will change over time.
Yeah. There's always ways to like incorporate the kids too, like regardless of what age they're at. I'm really excited to take them out on the kayak when they want to, but my son is the same way. Like if I tell him I'm going fishing, like he gets upset because he wants to go fishing. And typically, like, I'm not going fishing with them, so but like I do like right now they're in the sunny stage. I like going to the sunnies, but eventually like I want to take them on the yak, and I want to get them actually chasing bass,
yeah,
but it's just age appropriateness, I guess.
Because my 11-year-old, he is like, when we go fishing, and it's like you said, they all have different personalities. When we go fishing, he is all about, like, he is out there, he goes on a mission, kind of like Juan said. I mean, he doesn't care about if anybody's behind him. He might cast a hook into you, but he's got that one-track mind. He is fishing, and he is fishing for the biggest bass he can catch every time. Now, my youngest one, he's out there just fishing for whatever bites. He just wants something biting his hook.
He don't care what the size is.
Yeah.
Look, I got another one.
Yeah.
Nah, and it's dope because, like, so for me, for instance, I didn't have this. My dad always worked. Great dad. My dad is amazing. I had the best dad in the world, but fortunately, he always worked, and that was not his thing. He grew up in Puerto Rico, and at a young age, he did swim a lot in the ocean, but he got stung by a jellyfish, and it kind of like ruined his relationship with the water. And the only time he would touch the water if it was a pool, or if it was a freshwater lake. And even then, he would just chill on the side. He would just bask in the sun. He would let me and my mom and my brother do our thing, but he would rarely ever get in the water. And if he did, it wasn't past his knees. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how he was. And it wasn't until we actually had kids and had that experience, and me and my wife started talking. I was like, yo, I think I want to know how to fish, and I want to learn so that I could teach our kids or whatever. And one thing turned into another, and now I co-host this thing with Jay, and this is just like just crazy. It just started as a means to as a way to be a dad, I guess, a better dad. Not that my dad was bad. It was just, to give my kids more options than I had, because we live in an area that I had no idea, with all our little streams and creeks, and we got a really good stocking program for the trout. So between the little lakes that we have and our little opportunities to catch, the perch, the crappie, the little bit of bass, I mean, it's amazing out here. And I would have never known if I didn't get exposed to it and outdoors and all that stuff. So yeah. It's crazy because I'm a whole different person now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, outside of fish and chase, like, how do you connect with your kids? Like, what's like is fishing the best way, or the way you do it more often, or is there other things that you guys do?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm an outdoorsman, so connecting with them outdoors is big, but I'll say, through church. I mean, that's the biggest way I connect with my kids. We
dope.
have an awesome church. The kids love it there. We love it there. But my kids are little worshipers, so it's great to be involved with them in that. That would be the other thing that we really connect through.
That's dope,
Mhm.
man. That is super dope. I love when I used to be on the worship team, and I'm not anymore just because of scheduling. I'd love to get back on that platform, but I remember there was a season where me and my wife really needed to kind of rely on that, and we were watching YouTube videos of just different, like, we love Maverick City Music Group, Elevation, and they
Yeah.
have people on there doing different stuff, and unconsciously me and my wife would kind of get in our little moments, either through prayer or worship or whatnot. And I never forget that time. Just kind of, I glanced over in the living room to see what my little boy was doing, and he's just kind of like doing his own thing. I was just like, oh snap! I'm like, oh snap! And it feels good. You're doing something good there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's up, man. That's cool. That's what's up.
Yeah, I'd say it's the same way too. And I want to ask the guys watching this, how do you guys connect with your kids outside of fishing? Like, is there another outlet that you guys do, whether it's indoors, outdoors? Some guys like sports, like right now I'm
Yeah, sports.
connecting more. We just, I mentioned the Eagles earlier, we're big Eagles fans, but we just got into football maybe 4 years ago. But it's like a bonding thing for us. Like,
It
we
is a
spend most of our Sundays watching football. We did today. After this show, we're still gonna watch the other half of the Brown, or was it Chicago and the Houston's game. But that's what we want to do because that's what we enjoy. But my daughter's
Yeah.
starting to get up on it. My son, he's still 5, so he has like a short bandwidth for it, but he's starting to understand it. Like,
That's
we
what's up.
went to a high school football game yesterday, and
Mm,
he spent maybe like 15 minutes of the first half on his tablet. We put it away. We got a hot dog, and he didn't touch his tablet the rest of the game, and we watched it to the end.
that's
So,
dope.
and he's starting to pick up on the little nuances of the sport. So that's like little things that we can connect over, and like also for us, especially probably more my son at this age, he likes to play Minecraft. So
Yeah.
he likes to build and shows me what he builds, and he builds like replicas of his room. He makes lake houses specifically for fishing on there.
That's so
So
cool.
like it's like that little creative stuff. And my
Yeah.
daughter was at that age, and now she's into her Taylor Swift age
Oh
Yeah.
man.
outside of Minecraft. But all those little interests that they have, like it's a beautiful thing to be able to meet them where they're at and what they
Yeah.
love to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. No, you're right. My son now, he's just starting to, I just introduced him to playing video games, car games, because I loved car games growing up, that. And we started taking him every time we can. If there's like Nitro Circus came to town, so that was really cool. And then like Monster Jam. So when Monster Jam comes into town, that's another experience that we kind of like start connecting with. And I want to say we're big on movies. We love watching movies. Me and my wife love all different kind of kids movies and Disney movies. And so like over Trolls. I don't know why I love Trolls, man. I love that movie.
That's one of the
Trolls.
best movies, though. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
Trolls.
with all
And
the
the
music
music.
and stuff. Yeah, it's dope, man. It's just, so Minions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go on, man. But yeah, and I think during those little times, we also like to do like little adventures. We have a place out here called Q Mart. So we'll like go there, or like the Allentown Fairgrounds, where we'll just go and we'll just grub. You know what I mean? Go get some fruit, some candy apples, some stuff that's not norm. And so yeah, that kind of stuff, outskirty stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Not then that's like I like, especially like he mentioned Q-Mart, like that's local to us, so I know what it is. But like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just like a farmer's market,
my bad.
and you can kind of go with no schedule, and they have different things, like you might be able to snack on ice cream here, snack on a piece of beef jerky there, buy soap, over there or whatever. So
Like they have like a whole bunch of old stuff. Like so, another thing we bond with is like the car stuff. So he loves his Hot Wheels, he loves his model cars, and we get him all different kind of Hess trucks, especially like the vintage ones. So
Oh, I
that
miss those
place,
old ones.
yeah. So that I ain't gonna lie, they have a lot over there for like $20.
Hmm.
All different kind of years. I'm talking, dog. The one that I got was so old. The battery were like the batteries were calcified in there. I had to take like a little Dremel and like a little brush and like get that out of there because it was crazy. But yeah, yeah.
Kids don't know Hess these days, bro.
Matter of fact, I'm trying to get into.
Do you have Hess out your way, Chase? The gas station Hess?
No.
See,
No. So we used to have them out here, but they had. Oh, look at that. Was that Lego or just like a model?
no, this is a model car. Now, for the people who are listening on the podcast on audio, you can't see, but I held up a model car there. I got a box of a model car because I used to do that when I was a kid too. So, but I kind of want to make that with him. So I don't know. It's a little
Yeah.
intricate. It's level 4. I don't know. We'll see. I have it there though. It's sitting there.
I feel like that's probably even too intricate for me, bro. I don't. But
I'm not the best at building models. They are fun to do, but man, after a while, I kind of get frustrated sometimes.
I think it's because I already got half of the equipment because I paint and do with the lures. So it's like,
Yeah.
But the problem is, I've been watching some YouTube stuff, and the YouTubes that I've been watching, they're like chip foose for like little model cars. They're like modifying them. Like they look one way on the box, and they look completely customized.
Wow.
Like, yeah, so I gotta maybe not look at that stuff because, yeah. But yeah, those kind of things, puzzles too. He likes doing puzzles. So
yeah, and it's like and I know we're kind of maybe taking it a little bit sideways, but my wife sends me a lot of parenting reels like through Instagram, and she was sending me one today, and it was a good reminder for me because it was a guy talking, and he said, essentially, connect with your kids now in what they're interested in, because if you don't, when they're older, they're not going to want to connect with you then when you're interested.
yeah,
You know, and it's in those little mundane things, the Minecraft, the Legos, the fishing, you know, like if they don't give a crap about fishing, then meet them where they're at, you know, and maybe they'll never want to go fishing, and that's totally fine. But you know, but they're always into something. Like I will listen to my daughter talk about Taylor Swift, bro. Not because I love it or because I want to hear about Taylor Swift, but because I want to hear my daughter. You know what I mean? And I want to care for her. But especially like I get nervous because she's 12, so she's already getting to that age where she doesn't need daddy as much. So I try to take advantage of those little things. And so I'm just thankful that my wife sent me that reminder so that I could do that. Cause you know, 3 years ago she was into Minecraft, and I wish I would have paid more attention to it. Like I'm doing it from now for my son. So now I'm just trying to keep up to what she's into.
Wow. And that's a good thing. That's a good note for me to take care of because take in the back of my mind because today, so my son's name is LJ. Well, that's our nickname for him, but he's Juan the third. He's a third generation, so we call him Little Juan. And Little Juan is LJ, so that's just where it comes from. So today, so weird, making some grub for us, and he comes upstairs. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I gotta talk to you." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "My name's not LJ no more." I'm like, "What? What's your name?" He goes, "My name's Juan Orta." And I said, "What?" He goes, yeah, don't call me LJ no more. Call me Juan Orta. I understand that your name's Juan, but you're my little poppy, and I'm going to call you LJ. He goes, no. You got it. And he's so he talks in third person. And so he's at a place where he doesn't understand that I could just call him Juan. He makes me call him the full. No, you got to call me Juan Orta. And this just started today. And I went to my wife. I was concerned about it. I said, is this what it feels like? He's starting to grow on us. He doesn't. And I felt some kind of way because I'm like, dude, you're always going to be my LJ. I'm never not going to call you LJ. I don't want to hear that tone with me. I don't care what your name is. And I felt some kind of way about it. And you know, and to Jay's point, I've had a good friend Ruben kind of remind me too over the years to always take advantage of those little moments. And if that's one thing I could pass to y'all guys, because we all get tired, we all get frustrated. You know, we got enough attention that we're probably not giving to our own wife. If we're like being realistic, right? Because I know me, I could be consumed in my own thoughts and what I want and what I have going on, especially because my wife didn't sign up for a social media guy trying to, do all this extra stuff. Right. So I could see it when she's frustrated and I'm trying to put a post together. I'm like kind of
Yeah.
occupying my time with, trying to entertain everyone else, when I got
Mhm.
some stuff going on. And you know, I will say, if you can take those little times out, take those little moments, pay attention real quick, sacrifice it from yourself, because like Jay said, man, it's just gonna pay off in the long run. And I think if anything, that's probably the best way to find this balance and do all that is just take that sacrifice from yourself, because at the end of the day, they're only going to be young ones. And this stuff goes fast. And if you want to think about how fast it goes, think about, how fast they're growing, because that's when it started hitting me. He's getting tall.
Yes.
He's talking clearer. It's like he's getting a little attitude too, already at 4 or 5 years old. It's like, it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And there's no roadmap for this, right?
No, because everyone's walk as a father is different. Like
Exactly. Everybody
all
struggles.
of us got here in a different way, and we're all in different stages of parenting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have 4 kids though. I'm capped out
Yeah,
at
I'm
3.
done. I'm done at my 2. We're
Strong suggestion to stay that way.
So let me ask you: is it true? Because my wife said this, but I feel like she was trying to trap me. She
I
said,
can already tell you no.
"No." All right. So what I'm gonna ask, and he already knows. Does it as a 3? Does it max out with 3 kids in difficulty, and
No.
like 4 is the same as 3?
Not at all. 4 is probably 3 times as hard as 3 was.
Jeez.
See, that's what happened with the animals. My wife was like, "Yeah, no, having one more animal won't be much," and now we have, and it's not as easy.
He's over
Yeah.
here comparing.
Those are just animals.
We had, so it started out, we had one baby and he was just a good baby. We had a second baby. She was not an easy baby. And next thing you know, we had a third one and life was nuts. And we were
How
like,
did they
yeah,
take it? How did they adapt? How did your oldest adapt? Was there some my oldest gets a little jealous sometimes.
He's just a good kid, man. I mean, even 11 years old, he's just really overall just a good kid. He likes to keep to himself and do his things. Now he does like us getting involved. One more thing that we connected over was Fortnite. I've never played Fortnite, but he is all about Fortnite. So we played Fortnite with him, and it got to where he would actually rather play with me and my wife than play with his friends half the time. So
that's cool.
But
I feel bad when my son, he said, "Dad, you want to do this with me?" And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And I feel that way too. I mean, I think it's natural. My first thing is like, man, I got stuff to do. Like I wanna do, whatever, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then I try to remember in the moment, but it's hard in the moment to remember that. But I try to remember like, yo, they're seeking me now. They're not always going to be seeking me later.
You guys have the older kids. Does that get easier to handle, or is it like, do they get more let down as they get older? Does it get easier? Do they expect a disappointment? What's going on? What can I expect?
I definitely will say when they want your attention, they want your attention, and you can tell when you let them down. Even at the times that and even if they somewhat understand why you let them down, you can still see it in their face when you let them down.
How do you deal with that?
We try to plan out more like, hey, let's plan out more family time. Something that we've really been trying to make the last couple of years about is more adventure. That's something that, we spent a lot of time just sitting around TV as a family and stuff like that. We've been really focusing on making more adventures. And actually, me and the wife just had a talk the other day, because when you take the kids on adventure, it normally gets kind of frustrating. You have one kid that complains. We went for a big creek hike, and we were supposed to walk from one fall to another, and halfway to the other fall had kids with attitudes, kids complaining, well, hey, this this water's cold. This is a long walk. When are we going to be done? And it's like, we just drove 2.5 hours to get to this place. We're not going to just be done right away. And we got frustrated we hit a point where we said, well, hey, we're going to just go ahead and head back, and we ended up kind of calling our trip short. We ended up driving to the other fall and still exploring, but, kind of cut our trip short. And we talked later and we're like, we're just going to have to deal with it. We're just going to say, hey, when we go on these adventures, there may be some frustrations, but in the long run, what are they going to remember? Are they going to remember that, hey, I fussed a little bit in the middle of the adventure, or are they going to remember that we completed the adventures that we went on? That's the big goal to go forward with.
That's true. Me and my wife were just, we go through that too, because, sometimes we want to go together as a family unit, but my daughter is just such a pain in the butt, and she just wants her way, and she's just so adorable, and it's just so hard not to give in to her, and we done been through some things. We've lost 3 children and trying to have children. So, we have a bigger sensitivity to they have a huge soft spot in us. Like there's nothing our kids can't ask from us that we almost don't feel obligated to give them, because we know how fragile this thing is, and so that definitely messes with us at times. But to your point, man, yeah, we definitely thought about it, and kind of what Jay said, respect your season. You know what I mean? Like, so yes. I take advantage of what I can take advantage of, right? So, okay, I'll get her tired out. I'll get some stuff done around the house for my wife, get all that situated, get some food done. She'll come home. She ain't got to do nothing but relax, chill, watch the little one while she falls asleep in her little, we call it baby jail, but it's an oversized playpen. And we just let her do her thing in there. She has all her toys. She can't get into nothing. And, I could go off with him, take him either shoreline fishing or whatever. And I get a little bit of what I need. He gets a little bit of what he needs, because one thing I'll say is, as dads or as parents, we gotta give them that energy. We gotta feed into them. We gotta give them that hype. We gotta give them that back, because they're looking for that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I try to tell my wife, let's not overdo it, because I know that when they get in the real world, not everybody's gonna play up to them like that, because everybody be going through their own stuff. But at the end of the day, try to pour into them, I guess, the right way, and try to give them those good energies and those good reactions. Because like Jay said, man, I mean, I think that's what they remember. That's what they come back to. I can remember a time going to Six Flags, and I was a little kid, and I was being a whole little brat. And once I got over myself, bro, I had the time of my life. And that's what I remember. I didn't even remember I had a bad time until Jay brought that up. So, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, man. I feel like I had an extra note to throw in there, and I don't remember what it was, but
okay.
So
moving on to the next.
No, I do remember. Okay. So
so
something someone told me before, and it stuck to me, is because I did, like Juan asked about, does it get easier as they get older to do things X, Y, and Z? The short answer would be no. The long answer would be like kind of, sort of, but not really. Like the challenges just change. You know what I mean? So like, yes, I can take Jesse to the lake, and I'm not worried that he's gonna jump in now. But but now he's like capable of doing other things. Like he's, he wants to rip through my tackle bag or whatever. Yeah. So,
I had LJ throwing lures in the water. Thankfully, like the 2 or 3 crankbaits he threw were floaters. But that's how I happened to glance over. I'm like, what is that floating? And I look over, and he's just in my tackle box, and he's just like, talk, because he wants to see it swim.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man.
You're right.
Yeah, it gets, I mean, they're just, and like they're still young in my head, but like I'm trying to remember that in 2 months my 5-year-old's gonna be 6, and he's not the 2-year-old that I still see him as a 2-year-old in my head that tries to jump into fire and into water and all these things that he's not supposed to do.
Yeah,
like they're growing little people. But someone told me once, they said the days are long but the years are short, and that's like lived in my head since I heard it, man, because the days are hella long. But like you blink and those kids they're grown kids.
Yeah. It is tough, man. It is tough. I hated I had to do that whole dropping off of the preschool situation, man. And for like the first I had no expectation, but I remember walking back to the car and getting back in the truck. I was crying a little bit. I've been with my son. I've taken care of him every single day since he's existed. Um, Worked night jobs just so I could manage that. And it was weird. It was weird handing him over to somebody else and giving him away for a few hours and putting their trust in, but he looks forward to it. He has a good time. So I know it's working for him. So, but yeah. It's tough being a dad.
Mm-hmm. What's the best parenting advice you've ever received, Chase?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, essentially just understanding that they grow really fast. I mean, just knowing that, we've already talked about it multiple times, the stages that they're in, seeing them go from one stage to the next is so much quicker than what it seems like. You said you still see your youngest as 2. I mean, you hear it all the time as a kid that, oh man, you've really grown fast, but you don't realize it until you're that parent and you see that, like, hey man, I was just holding a baby and now he doesn't need me, like, he can come down and make his own food if he needs to. He doesn't have to have dad or mom right there. That's big.
Yeah.
So being with them when they're young and spending that time is very important because it doesn't take long and they're grown.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that fishing noob just made a comment that's really important. He said, one thing that hits me is the lasts. Last time feeding from a bottle, last time diaper change, last mandatory goodnight hug, etc. He said time flies by. And it's true. You don't think about those like little lasts. Last like our daughters, 2 of them, we don't have to shower them anymore. For instance, at one point, it was the last time we had to shower them. My son still, we're showering him, but like you said, Chase, like that independence. They little by little begin needing. I don't want to say needing you less, just needing you differently.
Yeah.
Now I'll throw in there having 4 kids that I've changed diapers of. I was happy for that last diaper change, but all the other things, I can see that.
Yeah. I can't wait for when my daughter learns that she doesn't have to touch everything.
Yeah.
That's the one. And like, it's cool. Like, the one thing I can't appreciate is my son starting to learn how to use the bathroom on his own.
Yeah.
So he'll, hey dad, I gotta use the bathroom. All right, man, go ahead, go pee. He'll go and he'll come back. Or I could leave him, I could defrost the Crustable for him and put a juice right next to that in the fridge. And when he gets up, that's another thing now. Like, he gets up on his own. I don't have to get him up. If I want to put him down for a nap or he's ready for a nap, I could tell him, go ahead. And he'll go up to his room and he'll put himself to sleep. And, so those different things are kind of nice. But yeah, you're right. And especially with social media going on with, like, you ever get those memories that pop up on your timeline and you'll see an old picture of your kid, you're like, oh man. Or if you have Google Photos, that's another
the
one.
worst. Google Photos, because they put in music.
Yeah, they do. They be putting the music on. They get your emotions going. They'll give you like 3 or 4 of them highlights. Oh, remember this? They'll do it with your wife. It's like, yo, what's going on? They'll highlight particular people and just do photos with them. They did my son, and it was like over 2-3 years, and I was just like, man. And it gets you, and you get to. That's the perspective. You get to see it, and it's just like, wow, it's freaking wild. It's wild.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. So, all right. So what's the worst parenting advice you've heard or received? And everybody listening too, I want to know, put the comments down. I want to see what's the worst parenting advice you've heard or you received.
I'm gonna get this one out the way real quick. I'm not gonna say who in my family because I don't want to throw her under the bus, but somebody in my family, like when my son was super young and he was having problems because of dehydration, because of his, I don't know what it was with the milk or whatever. He was drinking too much milk, maybe. I don't know. My son had some issues going on when he was growing up. Anyway, his poos were hard as a rock, and they're like, "Oh, well, you need to get more water in him." And my aunt was like, "Yeah, listen. I won't say on which side, but anyway, somebody in my family told me, yeah, just give him water and put oregano in it." And just give them that. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, boil the water in oregano, then strain the oregano, and it's gonna be good for his stomach. It's gonna make him like his stomach settle and stuff like that. And I'm like, girl, he's like 7-8 months. Water is not nutritious at all whatsoever. And so I never did it. And I hope that she never sees this episode.
I'm pretty sure you're not even supposed to give them just plain water at that age.
No, let alone oregano soy
oregano water. That sounds disgusting.
You know, old Spanish people with their I don't know,
folklore.
Yeah. Folklore.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Chase.
Oh man, I mean, you brought it up earlier, but it's you know, it gets easier after 3. No, that's not true. That's definitely one of the worst pieces of advice. But I also noticed that that fishing noob threw in there for the worst, and this is a pretty spot on one. Just turn on the TV or giving them a tablet. You know, that's big. So many people just do that. And man, there are times I totally regret us ever buying a tablet, because you'll be sitting there talking to the kid, and then next thing you notice, you look over, and I mean, that's their whole focus. They didn't hear a word you said, you know, because they're focused on that tablet.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're in a generation of, I think they call them tablet kids now.
Yeah,
you know, like that's actually a name, like tablet kids. But you know, our kids have tablets. But they're very restricted. You know, as much as we can. But in full transparency, there's some days that we just got to get stuff done. So they're on the, you know, they might be in front of the TV for 4 hours on a Saturday. And there's some days that they're not on it. Like today, you know, before church, we get up early or whatever. Like they weren't allowed to do screens, so they just had to figure out other stuff to do. But yeah, there's certainly days that we're just like, man, we got to do stuff. You know, go watch TV, go play on your tablet or something.
Yeah, I think we're all guilty of that for sure. I mean, because like you said, you got to get stuff done, and these kids don't let up. You know, they follow you to the bathroom. They want to, you know, you can't, you know,
spot on.
Might as well wipe it for me if you're in here, you know. Jeez, but you know, it is what it is. Jay, I never forget you called them the doorknob lickers.
My kids, because they were always getting sick, man.
Yeah,
little doorknob lickers.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, I have a cold now, because my kids just started school 2 weeks ago, and sure enough, they started with one, and it ran through everybody in a matter of like 4 days.
It took a week.
Every time
for a week, and really every time they go back to school.
Every time, man, sickness starts hitting again.
Wow.
And then the best part is that there's different sicknesses. I mean, they could come home with a cold, now COVID, pink eye, a stomach bug. You know, the list goes on.
Yep.
Jonathan said, "Rum the gums." Is one of the worst advice he's received.
I took me a little second to let that register.
I've heard that one.
Okay,
I've heard that one.
I've never tried that. Don't think I will. I mean, my kids have teeth, so it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Like anything else you want to add, Chase? Like fatherhood, like maybe like what challenges? I guess we talked a little bit about challenges. Like, as you've seen them getting older, what are some of the challenges you've experienced, like transitioning from kid to almost preteen? Because you have almost a preteen now.
Yeah. So I'll say a big thing for me is, you know, just experiencing the having multiple kids like that, you know, because they all still want your attention, and you know, they all seek it in different ways, but they all still want your attention. And sometimes, you know, you're focused on your life. Sometimes you're focused on one of the others, and sometimes you'll see the others, you know, get jealous or upset about that. So that's a big thing. That's definitely one of the biggest challenges, is being able to give that the same focus you put into everything else, you know, your work life, your you know, walk with God, your life with your spouse, and still put that into each of the kids, you know, because each one of them expects it in their way. And that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's kind of when I was getting back to that, and you kind of hit that tone that I was trying to touch when I said that energy. You know, give them that energy that they're looking for. You might be tired, you might be a little burnt out, or whatever the case is, but you know, like Jace is saying, man, they're kind of looking for that, and they're not looking for you to show up half, you know, you know what I want to say, half
Yeah.
half bass. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you showing
Yeah.
up like that. So gotta give them that energy, and you gotta find that balance within yourself to manage that. You know, whether it's time out on the water, go spend time dealing with, fiddling with your tackle. If you can't get out on the water, go watch a YouTube video, whatever, connect, go listen to one of these
Yeah.
podcasts on Spotify and Apple. Whatever the case is, but definitely get that balance. Go with your wife, do something, but figure it out for sure, and try to get back to that place, because I think that's a very important aspect, dividing that energy up equally along all
Yeah.
those areas, because you don't want to just be great in one area and kind of just a slacker in the
No.
very, very good
Yeah.
point.
And
Yeah.
even along the lines of that, as much as being a father is a challenge, I mean, you still have to, and you brought it up earlier as well, Juan, but you still have to focus on your spouse. I mean, my wife, again, I've talked her up. She's been an amazing wife. She's there for me. But how many times have we prioritized everything that the kids needed and not focused on our marriage, which has caused issues in the marriage. That's what happens, and
Stressors.
thankfully this year especially, we have really taken the time to focus on our relationship. And although we still want to spend that time with the kids, we've made sure to take the time to spend with each other. Regular dates is not just good for me and her. It's not just good for one of us. It's not just good for both of us, but it's good for the kids. It gets us that time where we can get out and focus on each other. And then when we get back around the kids, because I know if you guys probably have the same experiences, when you go on a date and you see other kids, when you're out there, you're like, oh man, I kind of miss the kids,
Yep.
and that gives you that time of, oh, I miss the kids. And when you get back to them, you're ready to see them, and you're ready to spend more time with them.
Yeah. You're ready. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% of the time, bro. We'll go on a date, or we'll go on a little. Once in a while, we'll get away for like a night or something like that. And yeah, one of the first things would be like, oh man, Chloe would really love the unicorn over there, or whatever. Like you want to get away from the kid for a little bit, and all you do is talk about the kids.
So funny, because we started putting the kids down. This is not something, I didn't want to be. I was at 8 o'clock down, 8:30 the latest down, like growing up forever. And I didn't pick that up until school. Little guy started school, and I needed to get some structure in him, because outside of that, I ain't gonna lie, I let the kid do what he wanted. My little guy, he wanted to stay up to 10, 11, 11:30, whatever. I didn't care. Same thing with my daughter. And now we, no later than 8:30, they're down. And now it's opened up, sometimes me and my wife won't get to bed till like 12, but it's opened up 3 or 4 hours a night now, where we could just talk, catch up. Sometimes we won't even say nothing. We're just so overwhelmed. We'll just be on our phones scrolling, minding our own business. Showing, hey, look at this one. Look at the next one I sent you, or whatever the case is. Maybe getting a little snack together, but and that's where that balance comes into play. But definitely, man, definitely pouring back into your spouse, because I know if it wasn't for my spouse, she and Jay too. I mean, they give us a lot of freedom to be who we are and who we've grown into. And if it wasn't for our wives and that balance, it wouldn't be possible. So big up to the wives. Big up to the wives.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's,
shout out to the wives, bro.
Yeah, because that's really, and I think that's where it's at, man. Get yourself a good partner that can help you manage it all. You know what I mean? And somebody who gets you and understands you. Chase, I think that's something big that you said. Your wife will say to you, hey, dude, go fishing. And Jay, at times too, I was surprised. Jay had these opportunities kind of come up with the Pan American thing before he committed to it, because he already had Alabama, was already locked in.
Yeah.
And he called me about it. Was like, dude, I don't know. It seems like a lot. And then the next time I talked to him, he was like, dude, Debbie's telling me to do it. It's going to be a great opportunity for me. You know what I mean? So that really helps us out when we have the backup of the partner saying, yo, go do your thing.
Yeah, and they try to help you like realize your potential. Like
Yeah.
Like I was just telling Chase before we went on live, like I'm leaving for 13 days. Like it's not easy to leave a wife home with 3 kids and she works full time,
Yeah.
you know, for 13 days.
Yeah.
But like that was and our wedding anniversary is in the midst of those 13 days. So, but she's like that was all on her. Like I told her, I was like, hey, I don't got to do any of this, and she like was like, nah, do it.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate another time. You know, we're gonna be 12 years married now. You know, next in a couple weeks here.
And another thing I
Congrats.
say is definitely congrats, Jay. Is try to help with the load. And the last one, this is something I'm learning. I'm still learning, and I don't do a great job at it, but I'm trying to be a better man with this. Don't wait for the concern.
Yeah.
Don't wait for your wife to ask you to do what you know she needs done. Just get it done for her. Analyze the situation. Take 1 or 2 days out the week and think about not what you could do for yourself, but what you could do for your wife and the household, and what you could do to contribute, whether it's washing the dishes, cutting that, making sure that grass is cut in a timely manner, the garbage, whatever, the laundry, fold some laundry, take that load off of her. Take it off of her, because at the end of the day, it's only going to benefit you, because now she's going to be more pleasant. She's going to be at a better place. And then you know what? It's going to free up what she anticipated on doing, because now she's going to get home and realize, oh, wait, I don't have to cook. Oh, wait, I don't have to put that clothes to wash, or I don't have to vacuum or mop or get this situated. He already got that done. Well, you know what? And then watch this. Now, what can she say when you ask to go fishing? Nothing, right? Because you already got that situated. You already got that out the way. You already relieved that off of her. You know what I'm saying? So take that time out, invest in that, and it's all going to come back to you, because it's come back to me when we go. She'll hit me with, hey, you want to go to Cabela's? Hey, you want to?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to come back. It's going to come back. So invest in that. Invest in that for sure.
Yeah, 100%, bro. We can't forget like all the house stuff that we gotta do. We're men, right? Like there's stuff we gotta do, bro.
To the mess too. You know what I'm saying? This
absolutely, bro.
You know,
see,
I'm a man's man, and I believe in rules, but at the same time, like if something happened and I lived on my own and I wasn't who I was with a wife, I would still have to navigate that, right?
Yep.
I mean,
100%, bro. And the roles could be different for everybody. Like it just depends. Like in our situation, I hate doing laundry. So my wife's deal is I don't do laundry, but I like cooking, and my wife don't like to cook. So 90% of the meals of our house, I cook them. But I enjoy doing it. Like I can be cooking and like helping the kids with stuff at the same time, because it doesn't really phase me. I'm not doing gourmet dishes or whatever, but I'm cooking, you know. But I don't care, because I don't got to touch the laundry. You know, my wife did the laundry this weekend, and I was, thanks, babe. Like I appreciate that. Like thank you for folding all this laundry for all these people that live here and then putting it away for us. You know, and then she does the same thing when she cooks. She's like, yo, thanks for cooking. Like, you know, it was really good. So,
perfect.
You know,
I ain't gonna lie.
JB
cooking. He's
I throw down, bro.
He be cooking,
and
he doesn't use a lot. It be tripping me up, and it's always extra healthy. Every time I eat over his house, he makes me feel super guilty about my lifestyle, because it's always super clean, super fresh. And it's crazy too, because the portions sometimes, you know, we'll go over there and I'm thinking like, man, is this enough for us? But yo, it's always perfect, and I could eat like seconds. And there's no like, your conservativeness is banging with that, because you don't have any extra leftovers, no crap going around, bro. It'd be good. And his steamed vegetables on the grill, with the grilled chicken.
I can throw down on the grill, man. I'll put it.
Grill master, bro.
I love grilling, grilled chicken, grilled shrimp, grilled
anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He got that on lock. For sure.
Yeah.
I saw
his wife. Go ahead. I was gonna say
I saw my buddy Paul. Buddy Paul made a comment earlier about the kayak fishing dads meetup.
Yeah,
and that just hit me, man. We definitely, hopefully next year, you know, those meetups can involve some meeting up with you guys. I would love to make a trip somewhere, you know, your direction. Maybe we can meet up and do something like that. You know, throw some cooking into the mix and everything. I think
you know how far you are.
A lot of fun.
How far are you from Pennsylvania?
I would have to look at your location. I mean,
We're
it
like
would be a
Eastern,
drive.
we're Eastern PA, yeah.
We're like
It'd be a drive. It'd be a drive.
I mean, last time I went to Indiana, it was like 12 hours, and I'm pretty sure it was like Eastern Indiana.
Yeah.
So it's a
What's
little bit of a
around Indiana? Because now that I'm thinking of it,
Illinois.
what?
Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky.
Oh, you're right up
Ohio.
in that little. Oh wow, you're right up in
Like
that
Midwest,
heart of
right?
Midwest.
Yeah, we're Midwest.
Oh snap! You got a lot of flatlands out there.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. What do you have out there? Mostly lakes or streams, or a little bit of both?
Lakes. We don't have much for streams in my area. Now, if I go northern Indiana, I mean, we have the Ohio River, so I mean, we have a big river here.
Okay.
But we don't have anything, a lot of small streams. But if I go north, there's several rivers north that I could get the kayak on. But I have to drive a couple hours for something like that.
I'm laughing at this finesse line. Somebody said I'm a finesser for that advice. But at the end of the day, I mean,
saw that.
Now, real quick, because all right, out on your areas where do you have like a lot of horsepower restrictions, like a lot of trolling motor only lakes? Because we have a lot of that in my particular area.
Yeah, it just depends on where I go. The place I fish the most is a fish and wildlife area. It's a bunch of old strip mine pits, and there are limits to idle only on your motor.
What's the most prominent fish in your particular area?
I mean, it depends on what you're going for. Bass and catfish would be your most prominent fish around here. Cool thing, they do have muskie stocked in the fish and wildlife area I fish at. Okay. So I've hooked 2 this year, and I've not landed one. One I literally didn't even know. Like, I felt some weight to the fish that I was reeling in, but it wasn't fighting. Up until I got it to the kayak, I grabbed the net, was just about to net it, and it was like, oh, hey, I guess I'm on a line. And it turned the other way and took off, peeled drag, and just kept on going. And just my lure came back flying at me. And then the other one, I got a good video of it jumping right in front of the kayak, and I didn't even realize what I had on it. At first, I thought I might have had a gar the way it was fighting. And again, right as I was about to net it, it took off the other way and spit the hook.
Do you have sturgeon out there?
There are some small sturgeon
Ohio River
in some of the rivers, but there's nothing big out here. Now I know, again, if I go northern, like up towards Lake Michigan and stuff, you can get into the big lake sturgeon.
How big are those? Do you know?
Oh, they get huge.
Really? I've seen like I've done like little voiceover videos where I've seen like I saw one that was like the size of a boat, like 14, 17 feet long, like huge sturgeon. They're so prehistoric looking.
Oh man, it'd be nuts.
And the gar. So have you ever caught gar? You mentioned gar.
So catfishing. We used to catch gar catfishing quite a bit. Now we don't have the alligator gar, like you see down in Texas and stuff like that.
So there's a difference.
So there's a lot of different kind of gar. We see a lot of they call them a long nose gar. So where an alligator gar, where you see those like huge giant ones, long nose gar, their mouth will be like, I guess would resemble more like a swordfish, where it's a lot longer and pointier, and it's just full of teeth. So they're a really hard fish to hook. You'll catch them on bass gear here and there, but they are a really hard fish to hook because they've got a real small mouth. Their mouth is very narrow, and it's, again, full of teeth. It's very hard plate in their mouth.
Are those like the alligator gar with that real tough skin?
Yep.
All gar got that tough skin.
That's wild. Their scales are pretty thick. Now, of course, the alligator gar, because they get so big, theirs is a whole lot thicker and a whole lot tougher. But yeah, gar have a real tough, their scales are really thick and tough.
Yo, Jay, I saw a gar for the first time fishing the Santee when I went down that one time by myself. Mm-hmm. And it was I don't know what I was using, but it wasn't that big. Huh?
They're kind of ugly.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I wonder. Do you have paddlefish out there?
Those are real ugly.
Yeah, so
Those are real ugly.
yeah,
And you gotta
they are
snag them
ugly
only.
fish. They're cool. They're cool
They
fish,
are
but they
cool.
are ugly. I've actually only seen one in my life in person, and we were actually on the Ohio River and fishing a tournament, and we were motoring to the area where we were first dropping anchor, and
For
saw
catfishing.
one swim next to the boat and come up and literally swim by the boat for just a minute, and I was like, whoa, that was a paddlefish, you know.
Oh wow.
So we don't have a lot of them around here, but they are around here, and I know of people that have caught some. But yeah, that's the only way you catch them is through snagging.
Yeah, they're trippy because they look like mini sharks with long noses on them. To me,
Yes.
that's what they look like. They look so gnarly.
Yeah, I
They're
seen
like
one on a video where
go ahead. I was
I
just
seen
gonna say
one
they
on a
look like
video where
sharks.
the nose was off, and it looked just like a shark. It literally looked just like a shark. The nose had like broken off. Yeah, it had broken off at some
paddle.
point.
It was a paddleless.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
fish.
looked like a shark. The guy caught it in, you know, a freshwater place, and at first he thought he had a shark, and then looked into it, and it was a paddlefish that had the paddle broken off.
That's wild. I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah, Jonathan says sturgeon can. He said listen, but I'm sure he means live to over 100 years old. Yeah. So something really cool though. The Greenland shark is like the oldest living creature. I'm pretty sure they can live up to 400 years old, which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
To think about.
How do they know this?
I think about that too. Like, how do they compare
around? Like, yo, man, listen, I'm gonna be 100 tomorrow.
Apparently, the water's so cold. The water's so cold that they grow so slow, and I don't know how they. I'm not a scientist. I'm not gonna pretend to know how they even like figure that out. But they estimate 400 years is like the lifespan for those sharks. They don't have any natural predators. They almost always cool thing, I guess not for them, is they're always blind because they get a special type of parasite that sucks onto their eyeballs.
What?
So they will always be like, they're just.
Yo, okay, real quick. What's the bass record for your state, for Indiana? Because I'm curious, you know, all over the United States, everybody got their big ones. Texas and Florida, let's not even bring them in the picture. But for us, I think it's like around 10 or 11 pounds. What's your record?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
If I had to assume it's probably very similar to Pennsylvania.
I would assume too.
It's not gonna be very big.
Because you guys start getting, are you a little chilly right now? Is your temps starting to drop a little bit?
Yeah, we're down. We've had it. This is a fishing hoodie, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're down to. I think today was like mid 80s, but we've had some days that have been in the 70s lately already. So
so
we're definitely seeing those temperatures drop.
Yeah, we've been getting into the 60s at night here. 59, 60, 63.
Looks like 14 pounds, 12 ounces for largemouth bass.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's bigger than, I think Pennsylvania is like 11 and change.
10 or 11.
Now, biggest fish I've caught would be a striped bass on rod and reel, would be a striped bass. And I caught one that I heard you guys talking about that earlier. I caught one that was like 37 pounds. So that was wild.
That's money, bro.
Jesus,
yeah.
That's crazy. You know,
but I did it the same way as you, Jay. I did it with a guide, so it wasn't the same. I haven't caught one in the kayak yet.
Okay, that's been on my list for a while. Like I want to go hyper fishing on the kayak, but now I'm forced to do it next week. Part of the format for the tournament is 4 black bass and 1 striped bass each day. So we're forced to if you want to be competitive, you got to land a striped bass both days. I'm more nervous. I'm less nervous about landing one and more nervous about how in the world I'm going to measure this thing on my kayak. You know, if it's of any sizable length.
Yeah.
And they are full of energy. I mean, even the big ones, they can
get to 40 inches, bro. Like that's not far.
What blew my mind about them was their limits. Like when I learned about the striper run, them going from the Gulf all the way up to Maine, and how it's cool to hit them off the East Coast here. And they're like, oh yeah, you could only use this one style hook or whatever with them. And their limit is 40 inches and over. And I said, what? And I said, yeah. The guy was like, yeah. Anything under 40 inches, you got to throw back. But anything over 40 inches, you could keep. I said, dude, that's over 3 feet of fish. What? So I can't comprehend. Those.
They also, I don't know if you guys have ate straight bass. Straight bass is delicious.
Is it?
They are good. Good
It's
eating.
very, very. I don't know if flaky is the right word, but it's like it's a white meat. It's delicious, bro.
Good white meat. You just got to cut out that bloodline in the fillets.
Yeah. See, I never had any.
You don't got to do a whole lot to it.
No, it's pretty simple.
A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of lemon.
Monster fillets. Fillets.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, let's anything else you want to add before we get to the dad jokes, Chase?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, man. I wanna be respectful of your time.
Hey, actually, I will ask one question. How are we gonna follow you through this Pan American? I think that's something you need to throw out there. How do we follow you and see how everyone's fishing in this? Yeah,
no, I appreciate it, bro. So I don't know how they're gonna be showing the standings, like the live standings. I'm thinking it's gonna be through some sort of like live YouTube format. So as soon as I know, I'm gonna share it. But as far as the updates for me, I'm gonna be like on my stories probably nonstop. I'll be posting up stories on Instagram and Facebook.
So are you guys gonna be measuring through like Tourney X or Fishing Chaos or
through Fishing Chaos? Yeah.
So we might be able to see the leaderboard on there as well.
Yeah. Once I get that, I'll make sure to put the links up. But yeah, because I've had people like ask if it's gonna be broadcast. Like, I'd love for it to be like not even if it's like on some MLF type, deal, but even if it's something a little bit smaller where people can just be updated throughout the day on what the live streamings are.
Yeah, I know. I plan to kind of cover a little bit of social media ish kind of stuff, in an unofficial / kind of way, because that's kind of my purpose of going down there as a delegate. So I'm hoping to try to keep that kind of information up to par with everybody, keep the Kayak Dads page updated, and just try to share as much as I can about the experience from both perspectives, and then a good way for everybody to kind of meet not only everybody on our particular team, but everybody from all the other teams and all the other countries that are going to be there, and kind of showcasing different opportunities. I saw a really cool video trying to get a better understanding of really what all this really was entailing, and I had just kind of put Pan American Championships onto YouTube, and I was real taken back by some of the footage and things that I saw, and I was kind of like, yo, this is cool, this is legit. And so I'm super pumped. I'm excited. We'll see what happens out there.
Yeah, I'm excited just for seeing the updates. Looks awesome. Congratulations, both you guys. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, and I appreciate the question. So as soon as I know for sure, like where the you guys could watch it or keep up with the standings, I'll blast it everywhere.
Real quick, right before you go to this little thing, I just want to give a big little quick shout out to Jonathan Kerr at Wife Calling Me Home. He gave me an official sponsorship, my first sponsorship for 2025. And kind of backed me up, so just wanted to give him a little shout out and a thanks. So
he's a fishing guide on the Susquehanna, right?
Yep, fishing guide right out of Harrisburg. So it's called wifecallingmehome.info. You could check him out. Sorry, I don't have anything official. It's kind of a back planned thing, but in one of the future episodes we'll throw his link up and a number.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to bring him on one of the episodes because he chases smallmouth all up and down the Susquehanna. So
yeah, and he does a little bit of everything. So if you want to learn how to mess with your electronics or read the water better, just understand where they're at. So yeah, cool dude.
Yeah, that's
Thanks,
what's up, bro.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool, man. So let's get to the funny or crummy. We got a couple of these dad jokes make me laugh, man. So before we get to that, though, thank you again to Lead Time. You guys already know what's up, man. If you guys need to upgrade your lithium battery setup, check out leadtime.com. They got every size battery from 6 or 12 volt 6 amp hour to solar setups, which is way more than we need as kayakers, but perfect for 20. They have 24 volt batteries, 36 volt batteries. I mean, if you're running an NK 300, NK 180, whatever it is, check them out. leadtime.com and discount code BDF6 for 6% off your order. So dad jokes for Ray Johnson always comes through, man. I appreciate that guy. He's dropping some dad jokes, bro. He says, why'd the fish get bad grades? Because it was below sea level.
I like that.
Let's see. Jonathan says, what has two butts and murders people? Assassin. That's original.
That's good.
That's a good one. Assassin. All right. Another Jonathan says, how many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles.
I hate that I love them.
That was funny, man. Another one from Ray. He says, why'd the fisherman hang up on his boss? Because he had something on the other line.
Better believe it.
All right, last one here. This was more like a dad story. It says, my wife told me if I wasn't home in 10 minutes, she was giving the dinner she made to the dog. I was home in 5 because I would hate for anything bad to happen to that dog.
Oh.
Man, that's funny.
Oh.
You guys got some good stuff, man. I love the dad jokes. Like, it's such a great way to like end the show, and that's why. And I do a dad joke at the beginning of every one of my videos. And my daughter started that whole thing. She told me one that I just like couldn't stop laughing at, so I started with it, and I'm still doing it 3 years later. But
this was a super fruitful episode, man, and I think we all dropped some gems in a unique way. It was super laid back too, which was kind of nice because it was a long week for me, and I know Jay, you're just getting over being sick too. So
yeah, man. Yeah,
Same
Chase, bro, I appreciate you coming out, man. This was it was really fun, dude. I really enjoyed. I like this topic in particular. I really enjoyed it, and as soon as I was talking to Juan about this before I even thought, let's see if Chase could come in, because we were talking about like something that led to like a episode about fatherhood, and for some reason you were the first one to pop into my mind. I was like, dude, Chase is always bringing his kids out. He always has photos of his kids. I know he got 4 kids. Like, we got to get this guy on, man.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate the insight that you shared with us, and as young fathers. We had a lot of people viewing that are already grandfathers, but like that was just great information, man. And I hope that people can continue to glean from that.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is an episode a lot of guys.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And if people are trying to find your channel and your social medias, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all under Southwest Indiana Outdoors. Check it out.
All right, sounds good. And we'll definitely have all linked in the show notes below. We'll have Juan's channels as well, my channels as well. I'm linked in the show notes. So if you guys don't follow, make sure you do. And next episode, it's not going to be on a Sunday, it's going to be on a Tuesday, October 1st. We're getting together with Wendell Fishing's KFO and the Yak Chat. We're doing a combined episode, doing YouTube fishing channel reviews. So make sure you guys come in. If you want to submit your channel to be reviewed, make sure you drop it in the comments. And until next time, guys, I appreciate y'all. Peace and God bless.